The red flags were there to tell me, Sam, have you really processed through it all? Have you worked through everything you need to? Is this truly what you want? And up until that point in time in my life, I don't think I ever really could have said who I was without doing a job title or saying I'm mom or, what I am to other people.
Right.
But to say who I am and to be able to define what I want.
If you don't forgive, the hurts of maybe your relationships in the past, you almost cannot move forward because it's like you said earlier, the baggage, right?
Yes.
And so now we're being mindful, we're stopping the negative thoughts, we're seeing the good in ourselves.
Yes.
But then we also need to forgive those that have hurt us in the past.
Everybody has heard about carrying their baggage. Baggage is the limiting beliefs that we have established in our lives over the years. Baggage is the old stories that somebody has said about us or to us that for some reason we've held on to.
Welcome to another episode of the Own Your Brand Show. Today we're going to be talking about self-love and building confidence. And my guest today is Sam Tishner. One of the things that she says that resonates with me so much is if you do not love and appreciate yourself, you are going to attract those who do not love and appreciate you. And consequently, that's going to spill into your business life. And so without much ado, I am going to be having this conversation with Sam, and she's going to be helping us discover, how to love ourselves, how to build confidence so that we can enhance our personal life as well as build a profitable business. So let's get into this conversation. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Very excited to be here today.
You know what? I have to say that every time I see you, I just love your smile, but I also love your hair.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my God, it was so much fun to photograph, and anyway,
That was such a fun day.
well, thank you, but
Yes, a little plug here. If you need photos, you got to go to this gal. She's wonderful to work with.
Well, thank you so much. I just want us to go into this conversation because, if we don't love ourselves, if we're not doing good personally, that definitely spills into our businesses, and as entrepreneurs, we do not want that.
Yes.
We also do not want our phones to be ringing while we're doing it.
Well, it happens sometimes.
Right. And I have put mine on silent. Is yours on too? On
Yes.
silent? Good. Thank you. You're better. You know better. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about why you got into this. And I didn't mention that, but you are a relationship coach and also the author of Heal First, Love Second.
Yes.
So tell me, why did you even write this book and how you got into your coaching business?
Okay. So, yes, for many years, I worked in the corporate world and have, always worked for somebody else. I was going through my second divorce, and that was when I had the big ahas in my life to realize that even though I could say things about my ex-husbands, I was the common denominator. So at that point in time, it was, what do I need to change to make sure I don't keep this same pattern going?
I love that because a lot of times when we're going through situations, we're always pointing the fingers at others.
Yes.
But you're so wise that you're like, look, let me see what I can do differently.
Well, for the majority of my life, I was the victim and I was always pointing fingers at others. But it was during that second divorce that I realized, okay, Sam, come on. There's something here. You need to take control of this. And so I started searching and, just looking for different things, how to be happy, how to have a successful relationship, all these different things. My biggest growth came when I hired my first coach, which prior to that, I really hadn't even heard of coaches before. So I hired my first coach, and she really helped me to get to know me and to see me and to where I got to the point to I love me.
That's good.
And so it was during that time, God tugged at my heart and said, okay, Sam, you need to help other women. You need to use what you've learned to help other women. So that's when I started my training for coaching and started pursuing this path.
That's good. That's good. So tell us a little bit about how, juggling entrepreneurship and personal life can be very difficult, and
Yes.
you have a wealth of experience in that. You've done the personal thing twice at least in your relationship, right? But what are some of these common, situations that we often find ourselves that makes us not love ourselves enough?
Right. Well, a lot of things can happen as you're growing up in different relationships. Everybody has heard about carrying their baggage. So baggage is the limiting beliefs that we have established in our lives over the years. Baggage is the old stories that somebody has said about us or to us that for some reason we've held on to. The baggage are just the different experiences that we have gone through but haven't healed from. So the big thing with our lives is we need to make sure that we feel the feelings, we process the emotions, we are aware of our part in every situation so that we can kind of clear that part of the slate. It's always a part of our story, no matter what it is, no matter how good, bad, or ugly it is. Everything stays a part of our story, but it's how we process it and handle it so that we can move forward. So clearing those slates within ourselves, with our relationships, helps us to be more confident and, able to process and work through and learn the new things that we need to for our businesses or our life in general.
So you're saying that processing that would help us build that self-confidence.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's very important to process through as much of that stuff. Something I have learned along the way is if you keep having the same thing come up in your life, whether it is an argument with a friend or family member, or something that you keep running into with a boss or maybe a client, if something keeps coming up for you over and over again, and it's something that really weighs on you, that's a lesson you need to process. That's something you need to really dive into to say, okay, why does this keep coming up for me? Where did I get this belief about whatever this situation is? And to be able to really work through it so you can let go of that so that lesson doesn't keep popping up for you.
Yeah, I like that. Because, and I know you're a Christian too. So I know there's this phrase that sometimes when God keeps bringing certain things over and over and to happen to us until we learn the lesson.
Yes. He's very big. He wants us to grow and be the best that we can be that perfect child that he created us to be. And so, yes, there are some times that we keep getting these lessons and he's like, okay, Sam, now's the time.
Right.
Deal with it. Figure it out. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. And so in your book, you talk a little bit about, some of these, you share some of the experiences that you particularly went through. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you unlocked with that experience?
That experience was being able to really focus on it, to unlock it, and to process the emotions of it, to process the experiences that I have been through. Being able to go through and really focus and do the healing from that, it's amazing the opportunities that it opened up. It has truly changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
Focusing on getting to know me and loving me, creating a healthy, loving relationship with myself has changed all my relationships overall. It's easier for me to set boundaries.
Right.
It's easier for me to be open and to focus on what those lessons are that keep coming up and to be able to kind of dissect them so that I can learn what I need to learn.
And I'm thinking it's the reason why you also called it Heal First, Love Second.
Yes. Yes. You need to heal once you can go through. And I would like to say that, yes, I have the perfect solution. It's going to take 6 weeks and you're done. No, still working on it today. Right. It has taken me 53 years to get to where I am today. That's a lot of unraveling to do. And there's just, as we go through life, it's a lot of lessons and growth. And it's for us to see those opportunities and to see, how it affects each of us so that we can grow.
So the first thing is to reflect and process
Yes.
all of that. What else do we need to? I know that you've put a lot into the book, but for someone that hasn't picked up the book yet, what would be the next practical step in this journey of the healing?
I would encourage everybody to find that person that can help them through.
Okay.
Whether it is a therapist, a coach, just a good friend, somebody to help you process through the different things. So as things come up for you, hey, I am really struggling. I feel really stuck in this space. To be able to find whatever that is. And some of it may be you can find the right author that shares the information to help you process through. It might be podcasts. I mean, there are so many different options out there. So finding what works best for you. For me, I hired a coach and she really helped me to find the clarity. The beautiful thing about being a coach is I do not have the answers for you, but I have the questions that can help you find those answers within yourself, because you inside yourself know everything. And you inside yourself can heal any wound. You have the power to do that. So my job is to help you connect into that power so that you can process through. So it's finding the right path for you to be able to process. One of the things I have recently launched a community. It's called Heal First Community. And one of the biggest part of this community are the on-demand coaching courses.
I love that.
So when I work with my clients, we do a lot of worksheets and, whether it's meditation and journaling or different things like that. I've taken those worksheets and developed small courses around them to where those who are part of the community can get in there, do the worksheets. So if you feel stuck in a certain area, there might be a worksheet in there that becomes your favorite. That's like, okay, this is my go-to. When I'm stuck, I can do this one and I know it's going to help me through. Yeah. So it's just finding those things that really help you to move forward. And everybody's different.
Right.
So finding what truly connects with you. That's
good. So what is some of the, common challenges that someone that's gone through divorce face?
Oh my goodness, a little bit of everything. You start questioning, trusting yourself. You question your confidence. You start worrying about, what have I done wrong? What do I need to fix? What are, the different areas? Your self-confidence, your everything just. It tanks. And even on the days where you feel strong, like I've got this, you have the different red flags of you're starting over again. Oh, yeah. You have to figure out, how your finances are going to be, how you're going to juggle. If you have kids or people that you're taking care of, it's how do you juggle your schedule? Wow. How do you juggle your life? And then how on earth do you start dating again? Oh, my goodness. And trying to open yourself to relationships or open yourself to even trust somebody. It is, it's difficult. And it's similar to, any stage in our life where we're feeling like we're starting over, whether that's with a job or with any type of relationship, divorce, it's that starting over process.
Wow. That is tough. As you were talking, I was thinking about this movie that I just watched. I think it's a Tyler Perry movie, Divorce in the Black, I think is what it's called. And, it's just one of the scenes that came up to for me was this lady talking about divorcing her husband, and she was worried about starting over at the age of 40.
Yes.
And she was like, nobody wants this old blank,
Yes.
and it's real, because you get to a point in your life where you don't feel like you're supposed to be starting over.
Yes.
In a certain area, of your life. And then now you're here, you're like clueless. Everything seems to be crashing down. And you're like, I can see how it just tanks your self-confidence.
It does. And going through a divorce, it starts a grieving process because you have plans.
Yeah.
You have plans that we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And this is what life is going to look like. And I'm not alone. I have this companion to walk with me. And then when you're starting over, the loss of all of that, it's a grieving process.
Right.
And that is, you have to go through all those emotions and to truly be able to allow yourself to go through that so that you can learn what you need to learn from it to be able to, make things better. But after my second divorce, it was a while before, it took me a while before I could actually feel like I had permission to be able to have a good, healthy relationship.
Oh, wow.
Permission, what will people think of me if I'm married a third time, which I am married. My husband and I have been married for about a year and a half now.
Great.
But married for a third time. What are people going to think of me? How would anybody trust me?
Right.
I've have 2 failed marriages. It's going through, there's so many different processes to go through. And that affects every part of your life. It affects your work life. Right. It affects your home life. Something like divorce truly affects every area.
Right. Wow. That's deep. And I'm trying to connect that. So we've talked a little bit about self-confidence, how it tanks. But the healing has to begin to start to love yourself and get to know yourself so that you can be I don't know if I want to say a full individual, or like be full, your cup be full, so that you can give more. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, one of the important things is to be able to be content with yourself, to be able to love who you are and not feel that you need to rush out and do such and such or rush out and get into a relationship. It is finding that peace and confidence with who you are and working through the fact of being able to trust yourself again, working through the fact of understanding why you chose that person. When in both of my marriages, there were red flags before I got married, but it's like, nope, I'm doing this for da 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 da, and when it was my second marriage, it's like, it's just because it's my second marriage, and that's why I'm feeling this way, but things are going to be better. The red flags were there to tell me, Sam, have you really processed through it all? Have you worked through everything you need to? Is this truly what you want? And up until that point in time in my life, I don't think I ever really could have said who I was without doing a job title or saying I'm mom or, what I am to other people.
Right.
But to say who I am and to be able to define what I want. Through my healing process, I did a Prince Charming list.
I love that.
And it was just a list of what I truly would want in a partner for my life. And it was an amazing process to go through.
Yeah.
But to define it with my business, to truly define my business. And there are so many different times that we kind of jump into things without really taking the time to define it so we know what we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you were talking, I was thinking about how it's important to, like we said, heal first. Get to know yourself too.
Yes.
So that way you can know what you want.
Yes.
I feel like as we grow older and we wear many hats and have a lot of job responsibilities, we tend to forget who we are and what makes us happy.
Yes. Yes. And that is something that one of the first exercises my coach had me do was, it was an accomplishment exercise, which I use with my clients now. But it's to go through and write down the things that you're proud of, the things that you have done in your life, not just, in a short period. It can be your whole life. And things that you've done where you've been excited, hey, I've done this. And then maybe somebody responded with like, and where you're like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't all of that. Any of those type of things. For example, this is the geek side of me coming out, and I use this example a few times, but when I learned how to do pivot tables in an Excel spreadsheet, oh my goodness, that just made me, I was so excited when I shared with other people. They weren't as excited about it as what I was.
Yeah, Excel can be hard.
Yes.
So I give you your flowers for knowing how to do that. That's an accomplishment.
But it's just the different things we've done in life. Look at those things that you should be proud of, and then find somebody to celebrate those with.
Yeah.
When I did that exercise, I ended up celebrating with my 2 daughters at the time, and it was really weird to have like a celebration and I be the focus of it because, I'm a mom. Everything was about your kids. It was about your husband. It's about your work. It's about, and so it was very weird to try and focus on something for me, but it was a very powerful exercise. And, one of the steps that just helped me to realize who I am and, the things that I do have to offer.
That's good. So I know you have a lot of success stories from your clients.
Yes.
Can you share if you have permission, or if you can share, just share some things with us that, some success stories.
Yes. Well, I have worked with many different women. I've worked with women who were focused on their career and they wanted to, climb in their career. And, again, you've got the answers within you. I can help you find those answers so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. I've had women that have come to me and, they're overwhelmed, they're stressed, they feel so alone and empty. And, within a few sessions, they start to see their life different.
Wow. And
things really start to open up to where they feel like, okay, yeah, I can move forward. Yeah. I can handle this. Now, it may not always be easy,
right,
but I'm providing the tools that they can use to continue to move forward.
Right.
Because all of us are unique and beautiful in our own diversity.
Right.
Each and every one of us. Somebody who may feel that they have a quirk or, I just don't fit in. That's not it at all.
Right.
It's a matter of really knowing who you are and appreciating that part of you, and then finding, kind of your niche of where you want to be.
Right.
And working with the women and then finding those aha moments where it's like all of a sudden everything clicks. It's like, it is so powerful.
I was going to say the same thing too.
So powerful. I absolutely love it. And I am so blessed to be able to be a part of any journey with any of the women that I work with.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So what advice do you have for creating a healthy and loving relationship after experiencing divorce?
It is finding your way to process, finding help and a path for you to be able to process, finding somebody that you can talk to that can help you through. After divorce, for me, anytime I have gone through big struggles in my life, of course, that's the time when I turn to God. It's like, okay, God, I've got myself into this mess. Help me figure it out.
Right.
And showing yourself grace is probably one of the biggest things. Because you will go through those times where you are struggling. You're going to go through those times where you feel so alone, where you feel empty. You have nothing else to give. And it's showing yourself grace to say no to some of the things you need to allow that space for you to heal. And whether that space is exercising, because you know when you exercise, it gives you clarity, it gives you strength. That is something that helps you to move forward. Showing yourself grace to make sure that you have the space to be able to do that. Maybe it is going to therapy or coaching, investing in yourself, whether it's your time or your money, investing in yourself to allow yourself that part to heal. I truly believe seeking some sort of help, whether it's therapy or coaching, is a very important piece of it.
Right.
And finding the right person for you.
Right.
Because if you truly do not feel connected with that person, then you're not with the right person to help you through the process.
Yeah.
So it is, showing yourself grace. If you need time, take time. Mental Health Day, absolutely.
Love that.
Take it if you need it. It's finding somebody to walk the path with you.
Right.
Whether that is therapy, coaching. I know there's churches that have programs called Divorce Care, and they're a free program, which I did a few times, and then I helped lead a few times at my church. And, that's something that truly helps. Finding the books, whatever it is. The important thing is sometimes when you go through divorce, it can be so bitter and it can be so heavy. Finding your way to process through that, but then also to see the good and the beauty and change. If you can start focusing on the good and beauty in the change, then that helps you to process, to be able to get out of the darkness that comes along with it. So there's just so many, there's just so many things.
I know. And I'm just thinking about so it sounds like it's a tailored approach here. And
Yes.
And I know you say you have some tools and resources in your community to help,
Yes.
worksheets. But I was just thinking about when you mentioned not looking at it from a positive outlook. I'm thinking about, usually divorces are very bitter.
Yes.
Very hard to process. And you're saying, look at it on the positive things that has come out of it.
Yes.
That's a hard thing to do. And
Yes.
I'm sure you have ways to help us look at it. And the reason why I want to hone in on this question is because maybe it's also applicable to other things in our lives too. In our business, our relationships as well. But what is the one way that we can make ourselves, no matter how hard it is, to see the positive, to actually, okay, let me try to be objective here. Yes. And try and think of some positive things that has come out of this, because that's hard.
It is very difficult. And one of the greatest ways to start is by doing a gratitude journal. And every day you write down 3 to 5 things that were positive in your day. Now that may be, I got out of bed this morning. The sun was shining. I had a good cup of coffee. A stranger smiled at me, or a stranger opened a door for me and it made me feel good. Or somebody gave me a compliment. It can be the smallest things. I didn't fight with my teenager today.
Oh, that's a good.
It can be, that's a big thing. Sorry, that one's a really big thing.
Right.
But, it can be small things that happen. But if you start doing that every day, then it grows. What you're doing is you're training your mind to think about the positive things.
I love that.
To see the good. And as you start seeing more and more of the good, then that just opens your mind to see more positive in your day.
Right.
And one of the other things, and I think this is an important thing to listen to or to try to accomplish as well, is we get that negative chatter in our mind.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Negative chatter from for any different thing, whether
Right.
you're not good at your
It
job or
sounds
you're
like
going through
that's the default in our minds.
Yes, it goes to that negative chatter. And to me, that's just the darkness in this world trying to hold you back, trying to keep you from healing so you are not the light that you need to be in this world. So when that negative chatter hits, you need to stop and you take a deep breath and you let it out and you say, I no longer want to talk to myself that way.
Ooh,
And then you say something positive about yourself.
I love that.
And this is just bringing awareness to that negative chatter that's happening. Sometimes it may be running for an hour and then all of a sudden you realize, I've got to stop this. So just doing that small exercise, you're interrupting the pattern and then you're replacing it with something good.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it brings more awareness to it. And if you continue to do that process, eventually you're going to have more times of the positive versus the negative chatter. And when that negative chatter starts, you can stop it really quick.
I love that. So, personally speaking, I have been trying to be more mindful about the thoughts that go on in my mind in more recent times,
Yes.
because the moment I realized that the negative thoughts would not stop coming, I feel like, okay, I have to do something about it to stop it.
Yes.
So maybe to add to what you just said here, it's like we have to be mindful of our surroundings, of our thoughts, and kind of take it into captivity, like you just said, like,
Yes.
because if you're not even realizing that you think so many negative thoughts and they're like, it's almost like you can't even stop it.
Right. And as well as what are you feeding in your mind?
Ooh, I like that.
I loved watching like the crime dramas and all of the CSIs and all of that. I loved watching those. And I still do occasionally watch it, but I would binge watch those shows. That's just feeding your mind into there's a lot of negative on those shows. Even though it's kind of cool.
Right.
There's still a lot of negative in that. And that feeds into your mind. But by replacing some of that with, positive things or something that's uplifting or, something that inspires you, making sure you take the time to do that in your day. And I'm not saying don't to stop watching the shows you love, but I'm just saying, start replacing some of it with something that inspires you, especially right before bed. Always something that inspires you. First thing in the morning, having something that inspires you, so that you're starting your day on that positive note. One of the things that I did each morning was in my journal, I would just write a thank you to God. So it was, thank you for this day. Thank you for the sunshine or the rain. Thank you for my children. Thank you for, and sometimes it was the same stuff over and over again, but it was still, I opened my day with being thankful for the bed I slept in, the cup of coffee I had, the just being thankful.
The little things.
Yes. And again, it's finding those things to bring the positive and the good to mind and to really think about those. Right. And that helps your mindfulness to kind of throw up those red flags when, the darkness starts to come in and it just gets ugly and crazy.
Right. So I want to connect that to the forgiveness too, because I feel like if you don't forgive, the hurts of maybe your relationships in the past, you almost cannot move forward because it's like you said earlier, the baggage, right?
Yes.
And so now we're being mindful, we're stopping the negative thoughts, we're seeing the good in ourselves.
Yes.
But then we also need to forgive,
yes,
those that have hurt us in the past, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit, some ways that we can try to forgive?
Forgiveness is a very big thing. So, and it is, oh my gosh, there's so many layers to it.
As well as forgiving ourselves too. Sorry, I just wanted to put that in there.
Oh, absolutely, forgiving ourselves. But and even in the workplace, there are things that have happened, whether you've had a bad boss or a bad situation. I know in my era, when I was younger, there was a lot of sexual harassment and stuff in the workplace, and nobody talked about it and all. Then those are all parts and pieces that you have to forgive. So in every area of our life, not just our marriage, relationships, whether we're married now, whether we're divorced, maybe it's things that our kids have said to us in their anger and rage, just any of the ugliness. One of the things where I typically start is to write down the different things you want to be able to forgive. So starting that list of I want to forgive, or even if you want to just say I need to forgive this, so that I can let go of that. Ooh. Sometimes it's very difficult because forgiving is not saying it was okay what you did to me, but forgiving is saying I no longer want to hold on to this. I no longer want to carry this. And sometimes it is just saying a prayer, saying, God, help me to be able to forgive this.
Yeah. So as you were talking about the forgiveness, I was thinking about sometimes how it's hard to even articulate what you want to forgive.
Right. Well, and something that...
especially when the hurt is so deep.
Yes.
Like, where do I even start from?
Yes. Well, and I have some memories from, my younger years where I don't really remember everything. I know enough to know that it wasn't good,
right?
But I don't really remember it. So where I like to start, forgiveness, there are so many different layers of it.
Okay.
And it is a lifelong journey. So in most cases, you can start with finding a place that you can just take. I love the deep breathing because it just kind of clears your head. It kind of resets your mind. So if you do 3 to 5 deep breaths, finding a quiet place, whatever that quiet place looks like for you, and then, with the intention that I want to write, 3 or 4 things I want to forgive. Don't start with everything. Right. Don't try and build the top 50. Just start with, I want to work on forgiveness for these things. And then with forgiveness, it is, why are you holding on to it? What piece of it do you need to forgive? How did it make you feel? And a lot of times it is that feeling that stops us from forgiving. So then it's a matter of working in ourselves to know I am safe. I am good. I can forgive this and find peace with it. So it is walking through that process. But the first piece would be, I want to forgive this. And then it is, really kind of diving into what that was and working on how to forgiving it. Working with a counselor or somebody, it's really, especially when it comes to the forgiveness part, working with a coach, a counselor, somebody who can help you process through. There are books and stuff out there for forgiveness. There are a lot of good ones out there too. So it's, again, finding what works for you,
right,
to be able to start that. But then if you do have some of those areas that are just really deep and really hard, then finding somebody. One of my clients, she and I have known each other for years. We met when she said, I Googled you and I found you and I want you to be my coach. So, and that was several years ago. And now she's one of my closest friends. But through our relationship, I have helped coach with her. And then she's gone to talk therapy for different things. And then she's done other things to kind of help her through, whether it's going to her pastor. And, now she's seeing a trauma therapist to work on those deep wounds that she knows she needs to release. So there's so many resources out there. I don't want anybody to ever think, oh, I've only got to get one, or hey, she's a coach, so she obviously just wants me to go with coaching. you have to find what works for you, and everybody is different. Again, we're all unique and beautiful in our own way,
Right.
and we find our ways to process through. So with the forgiveness, it's you start out with that willingness to be able to forgive it.
I like that. And the one thing I also took away from that is that forgiveness is a journey.
Oh gosh, yes, yes,
Because I always thought that you forgive and forget. Because there's a saying like that, forgive and forget. But
yeah, no, it's still part of your life. It's a part of who you are.
Right.
Everything that has happened. It's not about forgetting. It's about finding peace.
Finding peace.
Yes. So it's being able to forgive and find peace to where if it is in regards to a person, if you were to think about that, it doesn't bring up those same emotions. If you haven't forgiven something, if you start to think of it, it brings up those emotions and you get riled up just thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So finding peace to where, if it comes up, that you have peace with it.
And so if it's with a person, does that also including being able to still speak with them? Or do you
Each of us have to find our boundaries.
Okay.
I worked and volunteered at a women's shelter, a domestic violence shelter, for a few years. And sometimes it's not safe for you to approach if somebody hurt you.
Right.
There are things that have happened to people that it's not good for you to be face to face with them. And just by forgiving somebody, it doesn't mean that you have to speak to them again.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you have to seek them out, to say, hey, I've forgiven you. Because forgiveness is within your heart and finding your peace. And it is processing through what is best for you. Sometimes it's not safe for you to reach out to somebody that you've forgiven or to come face to face. So it depends on your journey and what that looks like. Right. One of the beautiful stories, and Corrie ten Boom, she wrote a book called The Hiding Place. And she was a survivor of concentration camps in Germany. And, God delivered her from that concentration camp. She lost so many in her family. It was just an unbelievable experience from everything that she has written. But she said one of the biggest things on forgiveness is when she was speaking and one of the guards that she recognized from the concentration camp that was one of the meanest guards in that camp came up to her and said, I've given my life to Jesus. I want your forgiveness. Wow. I prayed that God would give me the opportunity to ask forgiveness for one of the victims.
Wow.
And for her to be able to process through, she said, I could not do it on my own, but only with God I was able to forgive him. And, things happen in life, and there may be times that you can't do it on your own. Right. But leaning towards God can help you find that peace with anything that's happened. Wow. And it's never an easy journey, and it is a lifelong. There were times that I've processed, the forgiveness in my heart with my divorces. But then occasionally something will come up and it's like, ooh, okay, that part I need to work on.
So there could be more. So even if you think you're done, there could be more things coming up that, you recognize later on.
Yeah, sometimes it can be layers. Sometimes if something triggers you, then it's really trying to explore those triggers as to, okay, what is that? Right. Is there something I still need to release? Is there a lesson I need to learn? Is there, just feelings within myself that I need to process. So it's being aware of you. You can't control anybody else in this world, but you can control you. Yourself. You control your mind. You can control how you think. You can control how you act and how you process a situation. So it's finding out how to, manage and control what's happening within you.
Right. Okay. So I want to tie this up together with then building that self-love, And I feel like it's making sense in my mind now as I'm, as during the course of our conversation, like letting go, setting boundaries, writing down those things, appreciating yourself and seeing the good. I'm seeing how that all comes together to help you build that self-confidence and love yourself,
Yes.
which is the important thing for you to grow.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what you help your clients to do, because then with them, if we want to grow and build that self-confidence and love ourselves so that we can be more, if we haven't dealt with a lot of all those things that we've talked about, the unforgiveness, seeing the positive, changing our mindset, it's impossible for us to move forward.
Right. And you might be moving forward, but it's whether or not you truly feel the peace about it and can really find a balance in your life to where whether it's you're an entrepreneur and okay, you're focusing 80 hours a week on this, you're moving it forward, you're making it happen, but where's the balance? Where's the peace? Where's the flow of things? And if you get to the point to where you're really in tune with who you are, some people they are very driven and that's kind of how they feed on, but why is that? Why do you feel that you have to push that hard and to be able to accomplish something? Is there something else that's driving you? Is it a limiting belief from your past or something that hey, this is what my parents did, so this is what I did, da 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 da. Well, those would be the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So it's just a journey of getting to know who you are truly at the core and understanding all of your quirks and actions and all that, and really just kind of unraveling everything. It's all different layers.
Right.
And understanding that it's a process. And
yeah. And as you were talking to, I think about the freedom that comes from doing all that work.
yes.
Because yes, you might be, chugging along and doing all the things in your business and just going forward, but there's no true freedom. Like the underlying factor, there's still something there that is holding you back. And even if you feel like, oh, you're achieving a lot, but maybe there's a lot more you could achieve.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so profound.
It's a journey. And, we are put on this earth for us to live in community and have the good, healthy relationships. And that helps us to grow in all areas of our life. Yeah. And if you do not, the quote that I had mentioned, if you do not love and appreciate yourself, you attract others who do not love and appreciate you. So if you get to the point in your life that you love and appreciate this person inside of you, it's going to change all your relationships for the better. And it's your relationships not only with people, but, with your work, with your, family community, with, whatever it is that's parts and pieces of your life. It will change and improve all areas of your life. And it starts with that relationship with you.
I love that. Okay. So how can we get our hands on all these resources that you have? Because I feel like there's a lot of work we got to do, I mean, some more than others too, but I can totally see how I need to at least do some work in like thinking through what are some of those things that are stopping me,
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, it's not as apparent, like easy to see.
Yes.
Like you have to do some of the work to dig deep,
Yes.
So where can we get our hands on these resources?
Well, my website is always a good place to start. It is healfirstcoaching.com.
Okay.
And that has the books and 2 journals that I have published. And you're able to reach out to me there. And then the online community that was just launched was healfirsthaven.com.
Love that. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I just feel like a lot is unlocked for me personally. And I'm sure for our audience too. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be able to to share. And like I said, I found this gift, and I want to share with as many as I can, because it truly does improve your life so much.
Right.
Still a journey, but once you're on that path, it's just exciting.
Yeah.
So many beautiful things happen from it.
That's great. I can feel it already. So please make sure you go get your hands on those resources, because maybe there's something stopping you and you really need to heal first, so that way you can do more. Until next time, keep healing.